Right, lads, welcome back to What a Load of Balls. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on. Somebody got hitched. It wasn't me, and it wasn't our special guest. So, congrats to Mick on the wedding. Hopefully, you had fun at the honeymoon. But yeah, we said we'd bring in a little treat for you since it's been a couple of weeks. So, Bonnie's on the podcast with us. Gonna be light. We're just gonna talk shite about what it would be like if Americans kind of took over the Premier League and how that might venture, particularly after that Chelsea lad was suggesting some wild little suggestions. So yeah, there's not going to be any structure. It's going to be a bit all over the place. So yeah, I'm going to introduce Michael Crystal after his marriage,
All the way around, no?
And Kevin Bonnie, special guest. How you feeling?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Bonnie's been texting me for weeks, every day, saying, "When can I come on? When?
When is it? When is it? When is it?"
And here
Kept
he
letting
is.
me down. You got Conor Clarke on instead of me. Fucking hell.
Yeah, second special guest, and like no pressure. Conor Clarke, like we were at Mick's wedding there a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually surprised more than two people listened to the wedding. Listened to the podcast, not the wedding, and they were all coming up like saying, "Yeah, good pod. Conor Clarke is good. You want to get him on a couple more?" Could change the whole thing if you end up taking over this one as well, Bon.
I didn't know your agenda, boys. So, let's keep it PG. The kids listening, got the other halves listening, other halves, room next door. So keep it PG, all good.
Oh, good. We won't make it too rude. Before we go talk about the football, how are you feeling, Mick? Couple of weeks married man.
Yeah, all good. Back to normal. Back to work.
Yeah, good little honeymoon.
After rain for fucking 3 days. I was good to get away.
Just want to hear how I got on getting back into Canada.
Yeah, what happened there?
What was better than me getting there in the first place?
Well, let's just assume nobody from immigration has listened to this podcast. I'll tell the story, will it? Yeah. So, obviously, the visa was up, and I'm in the process of trying to get a new visa. So, but I needed to go back. So there was a risk running to get back in. And on the way home on the plane, I was fucking unwell anyway. So I was sweating and I was up and down. I was like, it wasn't well anyway. And then after this kind of 16 or 17 hours of traveling, because I had a long stay over in London, I get through to the gate and I'm wearing a yellow top, as you guessed, Bonnie. But it's covered in sweat. So like I look like someone who the border should pull,
Sweating all again too.
Oh, you can see it through the nips, through the armpits, down the chest. It's disgusting. Like, and the only option I have is put on another jumper. It's like, well, no way. Sweat. You know the way most airports now, you just scan your passport. So you scan your passport. If it's fine, you go through. And if it's flagged, they tell you to go to the desk with something filled in. So I got to go to the desk. But so lots of other people got to go to the desk. Fuck it anyway. Now I have loads of things printed off, like flights to Toronto and flights to Ireland and all the things that would show I'm kind of just coming back to visit and so on and so forth. But I come up to these kind of three guys who looked sound as fuck. I was like, this is going to be handy. They weren't even at a desk. They weren't even scanning anything. And then they were like, oh, you need to go over there. So I've got to go over to the actual border patrol desk. There's two people. There's a 50-year-old man who looks like an absolute prick. There's about a 28-year-old woman. And I'm praying that I get the woman. Anyway, I go left. I get the woman, and literally the only question she asked me is where I'm going to stay in Vancouver. I told her, and she says, right, enjoy. And it was all easy peasy after all that. Didn't need to book any flights. Didn't need any expenditure.
Did you have any documents to let you back in?
I had, yeah. I had my savings account. So, like, when you come over on a work visa, you get an ETA, which is a 5-year travel visa. So, like, legally, I'm allowed in. It's just a matter of whether they think how long they think I'm going to stay for. So that's why I needed flights booked to leave. But they didn't ask for anything. So I paid a lot of money for lots of different flights and stuff. They didn't ask for any of them. I'm here. I'm back. That's all that matters. Podcast back going. Bonnie special guest, looking good.
So no, didn't even make it to the wedding. Never mind, make it home.
Yeah, you had a few difficulties with the French, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, they love a good strike, Like, I was hit and miss to make it in the first place. And then have the flight on that Saturday morning. And, as I said, the French love a good strike. I don't know if you've been to France much, or your listeners.
Yeah, a couple of French listeners as well. So
they'll know all about it. Best way I can put it is, like the Irish, right? The Irish love a good protest, right? Never want to strike. So, like, any of your listeners from here to Singapore, you've got them all over the gaff. So if you have something to Ireland and you're stuck for something to do on a Saturday, Sunday, or Wednesday, just look for a good protest, and you'll find.
We do love them.
But that's basically the French and the strikes. So
French are a bit more they're a bit more kind of hardcore when it comes to the old protests, though, aren't they? Like they're turning up cars and they get the job done very quickly usually.
Well, they shut down the whole country. Like, only didn't make it back to Mick's wedding. That would have been a problem.
What?
But look, we made it.
Who are you flying with?
I can't remember. French. It doesn't matter because it was the air traffic controller. So like any flights going over France, even if you're going to Spain from England, forget about it. Because there's the air traffic.
Oh, you couldn't go through couldn't even go through the airspace.
No. That was the problem. That was the problem.
Jesus,
But look, we all made it.
French.
The boys were looking dapper, and it's not often. Maybe
Yeah,
never again.
Couple of good photos were taken. Yeah, one might get up to advertise the benefit of Bond on the pod.
I reckon we didn't look that good since the Debs. What do you think?
Best I looked since out of the womb.
You did die a death on the wedding day, didn't you? What happened to you? 1:30 going to sleep.
Oh, Mick, I was hung over the bits that day.
He couldn't handle it the 3 days out.
No. I wasn't half one.
He wasn't the earliest.
No,
Conor Clarke was
Clarke.
the earliest escape, so
Half 11.
He had a little tumble, didn't he?
Some people were saying he made it to the next day, not to tell.
The day after the wedding, that was fresh. And the Monday morning was fresh.
Yeah. And you were ticking again.
It was a long 3 days, though, wasn't it? Jeez. We probably shouldn't have. We probably shouldn't have went out the day before the wedding.
That was the best day, Mick.
I know, yeah, but we probably shouldn't have.
What are you on about? It all went downhill from the day of the wedding. Night before was the winner.
Yeah.
No, you can't not go for a few points. You'd be just sitting at home being all nervy. Fuck that.
Dan's birthday anyway.
And my birthday, you prick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Come here, Mick. On a slight side note, I'm getting a lot of people are asking me any video footage of this speech. Did anybody record it?
Julie has recorded, not of you though.
Well,
all you're gonna hear is Andy Megan and Conor Clarke chuckling in the background.
She has a recording of Naomi's dad and a bit of me, not you, no.
That's not what the fans want, unfortunately.
So you can tell us again. Oh, I had got speech cards, by the way.
I winged half of it. No, they took the speech cards away.
No, I have them back.
Oh well, yeah, I could reenact it someday on the podcast.
But they've whacked the suit back on. By the way, Dan, you never took your flower out of the suit. You scruff. I pulled down the bag and
did you take
flower.
that shirt out?
Yeah.
Good, yeah. You can post that over whenever you get free time.
Yeah, it will. It won't fit me.
And then here's a good question for you, Bon, right? Because you obviously don't live in Ireland either, right? So obviously, and you didn't live in Ireland for a long time, Mick, either. So I'm leaving and I have a day to choose what sort of snacks I want to bring. What sort of snacks are on your list to take away if you're going to be away for a long time?
What, to take away from the wedding, like?
No, not the wedding. No, just from not from the wedding. From Ireland. So, for example, I took some white milky buttons, minstrels, hunky dories, packet of waffles, couple of Freddo bars. Obviously, because you got to share out with the other folk here.
That's a full 20 kilos, Sam.
That's just for flight home, was it?
That was just for me, yeah. Never mind what I brought in for anyone else.
King Crisp, only for me. No,
King isn't that? I mean, King are the best, but I mean, I usually bring them as like gold dust, you know. So like Barry's tea. If you find an Irish person abroad and you whip out a few Barry's tea, I mean that's gold dust right there.
That's a friend.
You can't think ahead. Economical.
Conor Clarke is a Lions tea man, which I wasn't very impressed about because, as you probably well know, Lions tea is actually British made. So any true Irishman that drinks Lions tea may get the boat.
And we actually have
sorry to all our British listeners. You're grand. We all like it. Woo, keep listening.
They love the old PG tips and twinings though. It's not bad.
In Tetley's.
I don't. PG tips is grand. Yeah. Not against it. Tetley's isn't bad either. Even a couple of Yorkshire tea isn't too bad either. But it's not berries.
Come here to me though. Did you ever see these tea bags with the milk and the sugar in the one bag? Again, your Singaporean listeners. Yeah. So we've got some Singaporean colleagues, and they always bring over these tea bags, and it's full of milk and sugar and everything. And
why do you not like sugar?
I mean, I don't know. They can't. I don't know.
That's like buying pre-buttered bread. That would have solved me a lot of problems as a kid.
Yeah. You didn't eat the crust though, did you?
I think that's rumours. I do eat the crust now.
Dan, I'll ask you mad because she taught you from a very early age, and she'll tell me that Dan Redmond did not eat his crust.
That's the one thing she took away from him. She's like, this 3-year-old kid in my play skill, I can't tell you if he's going to be smart or dumb. I can't tell you if he's quick or fast, but he doesn't cut his crust.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell a funny story then? What we have you? One.
About a tennis ball, is it?
No, he went on a date.
Tennis ball story.
He went on a date, where was it, in France or Italy or something?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How long ago is this now? His missus is in the next room. You want to be talking about
You're talking about when I fucking blacked out on a vegetable?
Yeah.
Oh,
what?
Did I tell you that story, Mick? Yeah? Fucking hell.
You let rip.
Well, right. So basically, my defining characteristic, for some reason, I don't know why, but is being vegetarian. All right. If I get introduced to a new group, for example, it's never this is Kevin, he's a ship's captain, or this is Bonnie, he was right back for Balbriggan FC for 12 years and never got a testimonial. All right. It's a case of this is Bonnie, he's vegetarian. right? I don't know.
And you seem annoyed about that.
Well, I mean, I feel as if I've got better traits than that. You know, that's pretty generic. You know,
Well, imagine you made the Brentford team.
I didn't though. Dan did.
Go on, Bon. Anyway, so you're a vegetarian and you don't like being
right. So, but I realized in this day that I'm a pretty shit vegetarian. Nothing to do with eating meat or anything like that. I'm just a bad vegetarian, right? So,
you slag off vegetables, you pick up carrots, you slap them, you shout at onions.
basically, make them blush. No, so Nick's right. I was in Italy last year, right? And I was chatting to this girl, and she says, "Do you want to come up? There's this chili festival up in the mountains." I'm like, oh, "Yeah, why not? I don't really know what that's about, but sure, why not? Like, what can go wrong?"
Like so a cold festival, or like a eating like a cold festival, or like a.
Well, that's what I thought. No, this is the middle of summer. I actually said, like, what's the crack? She said, no, just like little chili pepper festivals. Like, I don't really know what that means, but all right, let's go. So we go up, and it's as you'd expect. It's just a load of chilies. Anyway, she buys this nice tree, and we get gifted this brown paper bag of pure chilies. Right?
Is this a first date?
Yes, this is a first date.
Not first date.
Well, I mean, look, I'm an odd person. It wasn't my idea anyway.
You didn't suggest it. I'd be thinking, look, geez, this woman could turn into Jeffrey Dahmer up this street. You know what I mean?
You haven't even heard the end of the story yet, then.
Oh.
And, so right, we go back to hers, and we're heading out there. We go, fuck it. We go down for a few beers. So we're walking down the town, and she whips out this bag, and she whips out this chili. I kid you not, but the size of a €2 coin. All right, nice round joke. And she says, "Here, eat this." I'm like, "Would you go? I'm like, are you mad? I'm not gonna eat this chili that some randomer gave us in the mountains in this paper bag. Like, have you lost your mind? Like they use this shit for chemical warfare these days. I'm not gonna eat this." This is what I say in my head. But obviously, as you know, I'm a sucker for a pretty face. So I pop it in, chow down the hatch she goes. All right. And I'd say I had about 10 seconds left of actual consciousness. Like,
the chili passed. You passed out because of the chili.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, basically. So this is the most, you know, when you're late to a party, right?
Yeah.
And you scull a few beers, and then you take a few shots of vodka, and maybe take a few tugs of the spliff within like half an hour because you're late, right? And it hit you like a ton of bricks. It was like this, but in 10 fucking seconds, right? My ears went incredibly hot. Mick, you know about hot eyes, right? Hot ears.
Well, did she take a chili as well?
She did, yeah, but just after me, right? So hers didn't kick in till after. So she turns to me and she says, like, "Are you feeling all right?" I was like, "My ears are hot." The color drains me, and I start like sweating mats, right? I say, "Are you all right?" She gets a hiccup, right? And she goes, "Yeah, I'm but what's this sensation?" I'm like, "What, the hiccups?" She goes, "Yeah, I've never had this before."
Fuck off.
Exactly. I was like, well, it's a bit odd that you get hiccups from a vegetable, but it's a bit more odd that you're 33 years old and you've never had the hiccups before. Anyway, all that goes out my mind because I'm like, I have literally 10 seconds left of my life because I thought I was going to die. So I tell her, "Go on, save yourself." And I basically hunker down. And I see her looking at me like, this guy's a bit of a drama queen, like sweating here and talking all this nonsense. And anyway, so I'm hunkered down in bits. And about 10 seconds later, I hear her scuttle past, right? Obviously, hits her pretty hard as well. So I get up and I'm crossing the street, and literally, I passed like a blackout. I passed the fuck out completely. Wake up in a heap, fucking chunks taken out of me, like blood everywhere. All right.
Oh yeah.
Literally just from popping this chili. Popping a chili is a vegetable, but so I get myself up, literally crawl back to her apartment, right? And
now, has she fallen down at any point herself as well, or were you the only faintee?
I'm the only faintee so far, anyway. All right.
Okay.
So here I am in bits, crawling down this random little Italian village in some little street. All right. Get to this gated complex. I ring all the fucking doorbells because I don't know which one she is. She's obviously in bits as well, so I don't know if she's going to answer the door or not. So I got all these.
Oh, sorry, you made it here on your own. She's left you.
You just followed her.
She scuttled past. She's just like, she bolted. That was it.
All right, he's passed out. See you later.
Bonnie comes crawling back, literally.
So literally, you crawl back to the front gate, press all the doorbells, and there's all these little old women like looking out their windows at me. I don't know what they see. This little gremlin on the floor, like sweating, red ears, white face. You know, I don't know what's going on. Anyway, she finally lets me in, and she scuttles back upstairs because she's obviously not well. I crawl myself to the downstairs bathroom, right, and I realize that there's nice cold tiles on the floor. I completely strip, all right, because my body is in this pure heat, right? So I'm lying bollock naked on this fucking cold tile floor just to get some sort of sweet relief from this fucking hellish fucking situation I'm in. Right, sweating profusely. Right, again, bleeding, some fucking blood everywhere. And then I'm thinking, then right, maybe she is about to collapse. You know what I mean? She didn't collapse on the street, but it might be coming soon. So, being the gentleman that I am, I popped myself up and put my clothes on, and went to check on her. But she was already sitting downstairs, and she looks at me, and she's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, you?" She says, "No." So we gaze at each other for a few moments, right, deep in each other's eyes, and we're like, "Let's call it a night." She's like, "Yeah." So yeah, makes your story the worst vegetarian in the world, fucking blacking out on a vegetable.
That was fun for us date, there.
Needless to say, there wasn't a second. Well, actually, it was a second. It was a second.
Yeah, well, there shouldn't have been, man. She left you to die.
But I mean, I get it was survival mode. It was survival mode. I don't know if she's listening. Maybe she is. So, Eleonora, if you are listening, cheers for that.
Eleonora, Italian. Odd.
Yeah, little Italian.
But in long story short, some random guy gave you some chilies and disappeared.
Well, basically, yes. That's why I was saying to myself, like, "Are you mad? I'm not going to take this shit."
So
But,
this guy could have been some sort of Italian dammer.
Well, I mean, I don't know how long I was out for, and that's the truth.
You woke up covered in blood.
Well, yeah. I mean, covered might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but there was definitely
Bloody.
a few scratches. But never let the truth get in the way of a good story. You know that.
That is good. That is.
Dan of all people knows that.
Oh, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Loves a good tale.
That's a very good story. I like that. Very good.
Are you coming back for the match next month?
I'd love to, but no, I won't be traveling now.
Did we get your ticket and get a little sex doll and put a little Dan's face on it?
Yeah, do that.
That'd be good.
You don't have to pay for the ticket though.
I'm not paying for that ticket.
No, I mean, guarantee someone's gonna bottle it, so we'll just take their ticket.
Oh, I think you could just take the doll in.
Okay, where do you get one of those? We'll ask Aaron.
No, right. So another thing that was discussed at the wedding was how we were going to get Bonnie into the podcast. What we talk about, and we started talking about. It was around the time that Chelsea owner had suggested the All-Star 11 versus the All-Star 11, and then of course there's a few points in it. We were just laughing at like how many stupid things that could actually come if Americans got control.
Well, no, to be honest, we were saying that it's a bit silly. Like the whole, as a lot of the pundits and everyone else is saying, that it's a bit soon to be making your own stamp on things. Like, but
very soon. He's
but we reckon he's got something, like, maybe not the All-Star 11, maybe not a full match, but I'm thinking bring him back to the streets, right? Never mind this American nonsense, but bring him back to the streets. Like, there should be I'm not saying the whole time, but there should be a summer tournament, like, where you're talking jumpers for goalposts.
Jumpers for goalposts.
Jumpers for goalposts.
You're watching too much at FIFA Street, remember that?
Great game, yeah.
It was in a cage.
Commentator. The commentator.
Get Eric Cantona.
Lenny or something.
Commentate. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, jumpers for goalposts. Crossbar is only as high as you can jump. All right. Naturally. All right. Get a few cars driving by. No, but seriously, like, get rid of penalty shootouts. Bring in crossbar challenge, for example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
crossbar challenge. You're thinking something along the lines of what would used to be Soccer AM back in the day, are you? Like skill school and stuff like that.
That's before my time.
Before your time. You're older than me.
It's still going.
I agree with you. I think there's ways that they could do it. That's like, obviously from a more serious side, all the commanders and fans are moaning because it'd be an extra game. Living over here where all the North American sports are on, because they do all that like end of year stuff. That's obviously why the guy suggested it. The basketball one brings in 300 million for one game into the league, which is fucking banana monies. But
who does that go to? The league or the teams, or what's?
That's what I was gonna ask. Who gets this money?
As far as I'm aware, it's broken down to the league, so it's split the same way television money would make. Now, who gets what, I don't know.
Fans still have to pay for that then.
It's not something I've researched, to be honest with you. It's all fan money. Like, yeah, it's 30,000 people coming for over a couple of days. But I agree with you. It's the mini games that are better. So the funny thing is, after all us talking about it, the NFL have just changed theirs. So they're not doing a pro game anymore, where they play the best of the North against the best of the South. They're changing now to little drills like quarterback challenges and hitting challenges.
Like a sports day. Remember back in school, you used to have sports day, and you were like all year you're psyched for this.
I would have loved to see Ledley King race Peter Crouch in an egg and spoon race.
Yes. I was going to say sprinting challenge, but that makes more sense. But I mean, Peter Crouch just leans across. Peter Crouch just lean across.
Or if you want to watch any game, like, let's get 11 goalkeepers against 11 goalkeepers. See if they're any use.
Yeah, I was thinking 1-on-1 with the keepers, like they used to do in the MLS for the penalty shootouts.
That
That was
was
switch it
dumb.
up.
Yeah.
So the striker goes in net and the goalkeeper is attacking. I mean,
Little swapperoo.
makes sense. Makes sense.
So-
Makes sense.
Some outfield players would be good in the post. Remember John O'Shea went in the sticks?
John O'Shea, that's right. John O'Shea, yeah.
Have to clean it.
Yeah, but sure, look, he's used to all Gaelic.
But going back to
athletics.
the North v South, who do you reckon would actually win that game?
Oh, sure, Man City would be 11 players in the North. They'd beat anybody.
Conor Clarke wants to come and join.
Let him in. Let him enjoy the madness.
Knocking on the door, is he?
Hey, lads.
Okay. What's your second whole situation?
Oh, there we go.
What is this? Huh? Is Elaine happy to be on the podcast? There's
Baby Hamburg.
Baby Hamburg on the podcast. It's a baby Hamburg, yes.
It's baby Hamburg, yes.
I'll tell you a very funny story actually about German accents, right? So I went over to the missus when I got back here, and on the first day I went over, she was saying, "Do you know the whole hickory dickory dock, right?" But instead of saying mouse, she said Klaus. So I was like, "The hickory dickory dock, so Klaus went up to Clarke." Naturally, I haven't let it go.
Klaus the fish.
But we were worried, Conor, you'd be jealous that Bonnie was taking all the good podcast time, so Mick invited you.
No.
I didn't think you'd actually answer.
We thought he'd be freaked again.
No, I'm only after walking in the door, and I just seen I had a notification from join this
You do
Zoom
look
call.
like you've been up just having a big old nap.
I was like, am I be spontaneously being put on a podcast again, or what's going on?
Exactly what's going on, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let Bonnie have his limelight. It looks great though.
Does great hair.
On yourself.
Great hair.
Fresh out of a siesta.
Just a quick 2-minute cameo from Conor Clarke just to see what he's up to and how baby Hamburg is.
Hi, baby. Good. Connor's just home from work. Well, actually, no. I'm just home from the pub. I got home. See, I lost
Same thing.
I lost my car keys a while ago. Did I tell you no?
No.
Here we go.
I was on the way home and fucking got home. I don't remember
No.
having my car keys. I remember I was fucking pissed, to be honest. And the next morning I was going to my car. I said, where the fuck my car keys? Can't find them anywhere. So I had to use my spare. And ever since I lost my car keys. So I lost my house key, obviously, that was on the car keys. I just never got a new one. So I have no key for my own house. So I got home there. Elaine was out. So when I pulled into the garden, there was obviously no way into the house. So I said, where am I going to go? Fuck it, go to the pub. So,
And Conor, how's the foot after the wedding?
yeah, they're good now. They're good. Blisters have healed.
Too much dancing.
The blisters have healed. Do you want to see?
No, not really.
No.
That's all right,
Dancing physio. You can show him later.
Conor, do you want to explain to the people from Singapore and the likes that are listening why your baby's called Baby Hamburg?
Yeah. So it's on the way to mixed stags. And I'll start 2-3 days before. Elaine was obviously heavily pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant at this stage, and 2-3 days before, she had to go into hospital because she had like that pregnancy diabetes and all. So she went in for the check, and they decided to give her a sweep, which is something that they give you when you're kind of running over your pregnancy. They don't want to go too far. So I was kind of like, why are they giving you a sweep? And I was like, I don't know. Do you think the baby might come the next day or two? And I was convincing myself. I was like, nah, the baby's not going to come. Like, it's 4 weeks out. Like, no way this baby's coming. So anyway, 2 days later, Mick drives up the door. Right, come on, we're going to the Stags over to Hamburg. And like this Hamburg thing, whether it's Connor's going or Connor's not going, was a big talk of the whole Stags. So I rock out anyway into the car, all excited. Mickey, the first thing he asked me, what would you do if you got through security and Elaine got into labour? I was like, well, I suppose I'd have to go home, but that's not going to happen anyway. So a week before the Stags, Dublin Airport were having issues with the queuing systems, and there was hours upon hours of delays. So we kind of rocked up to the airport a bit early. So I think we got there, and there was only not less than 40 minutes in the queue. Got up through security, put my phone on the X-ray tray. As I took my phone out my pocket, it was ringing. I said, here, why is she ringing me? I'm gonna have to leave in the gaff. Like, I know right well what this is. So I was thinking about all sorts of things, like, well, I put this thing on airplane mode and just not answer.
She listens to this conversation. What are you talking about?
She'll end up ringing the fucking airport or ringing one of you lads. So,
she's not listening, buddy. Went upstairs.
I says, fuck it, I'll answer. I answered anyway. I think my waters were out. So what do you mean you think? ring you back when you're sure. And I'm up, threw the phone on the tray, and the phone goes through the X-ray machine. I walk through the metal detector, come out the other side. The phone comes out the X-ray machine, ringing again. I said, here we go. As I look up the lads, all the lads are waving at me. See you there, Conor. I had to go, and waters are broke, so I had to go up to the woman at security, and she had to walk me out. It was like I'm after smuggling drugs into the airport and getting it.
Come here, I was going to actually ask that, because it's very rare you see someone leave the airport after going through security other than flying. Were they difficult to get through? Like,
no, it was very easy. I went up to your one, and your one kind of had a go at me for going on the stags. And then the missus was pregnant, like, you know. But I kind of just told her, like, she's still 4 weeks early, so we didn't think that she was going to be going.
Still trying to justify it. Broke.
So she just walked me back, kind of like through the staff area. But she had to check me out because basically, if the airline had been calling for passengers, they would have called for me. So they had to let them know that I'm not there. So she got onto the system and D-checked me out, I suppose, D-checked me out. And it gives them 4 options, like, you know, forgot something or whatever. There was none, like, you know, my missus gone into labour wasn't an option. So she just left something at home she had to put down. But she told me now, in fairness, she told me, like, if it turns out to be a false alarm and I have enough time to make it back, that just come and look for her, and she'll just rush me through security so I can get back into the lads again.
Oh,
so nice. I got that sound. So when I got home anyway, Elaine was sitting there all calm at the kitchen table having a cup of tea with her sister and her brother-in-law. Her brother and sister are running around the house getting things together. And I walk in the house, like, come on, in the car, we're going to the hospital. She goes, no, it's too early. I was like, we're finding out if you're in labour. Now, if you're not in labour, I'm going back to the airport. There's no way. Like, you know, up to the hospital anyway, and the midwife comes out and she says, you might be in labour, you might not be in labour. I'm there looking at the clock. Oh, when do we know? But I think he was born before the plane even landed, so I suppose it was a good thing I got home anyway, because she never would have forgiven me if I hadn't missed that.
Well, we got off the plane and we got a picture of the baby.
Yeah.
That's quick delivery, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was very quick. It happened very quick. Yeah. Within I think it was about from the time she kind of went into active labour, it was about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, which is like seriously quick.
Well, and then obviously because they were in Hamburg, they now call the baby Hamburg. What is the child's actual name?
Ollie.
Ollie, yeah. Well, congrats on Ollie.
Aren't you godfather down, no?
No, I'm not godfather to either child.
No, you're next on the list, Dan.
If you have
Next, it's going to be a third, is it?
Sure, Lang doesn't like that.
What?
You're going to have one more?
No, I think I'm done now. Well, they say
how
I'm
the fuck
done.
am I next?
Huh?
How the fuck am I next then?
Well, I say I'm done, but I said I was done after the first one.
Yeah. Oh, God. It'll be Mick next anyway now, huh? Now he's a married man. I seen the wedding ring pop into screen there for the first time.
Bit of bling, isn't he? Flashing the bling.
Shit.
You'll be married next. No, Conor be next. Then it'll be Dan.
Yeah.
It'll be Spell, I reckon.
I'd say
Spell's got a baby on the way.
I'd say Spell then, me.
You mean marriage? I won't be getting married for a long time. I might not even get married.
I'd say Spell next.
Nah.
Yeah. He's got the house, he's got the baby. It comes in trades.
He's got to put a ring on it before she finds him out.
Lock it down, like.
Lock it down. Or he's going to lock her down before he goes blind.
And come on, no funny.
Laugh at that in the train now.
Why is Spell going to the Ireland match? He won't be able to see a thing. We should pretend that goal went in.
I think he has the impaired hearing things now. The visual impaired headphones.
Yeah.
Where someone's doing live commentary in your ear.
You know what I was thinking, actually? I never said it to him. You must say it to him when you see next. He could probably play for Ireland's blind team now.
He'd probably good, actually.
Big God, he can.
When he could see.
But they might just stick him in net, like.
Yeah, he was a good goalkeeper.
He was. And he looked like Oliver Kahn.
You just hope the ball hits him.
They could travel the world. Like, he could end up playing a World Cup in Qatar, like, the blind World Cup.
So, Dan, you played the World Cup.
Yeah, fuck golf World Cup. That was a very different type of World Cup, my man.
Bonnie could play the Homeless World Cup.
Homeless World Cup.
That actually is a thing, obviously, for us, but they're doing at Qatar, they're doing a Street Child World Cup, which is a charity. Anybody wants to donate a few quid. It's just basically putting a load of people from like different places in Asia and Africa that are homeless into a World Cup to run along the same time when the Qatar World Cup was on. See that? Dan, little serious 20 seconds on the podcast there now for any of the fans.
No links, Dan, no?
You know what? I'll find a link and I'll put it into the group. Yeah, and you know what? I'll tag the person who organised it because he's got about 60,000 people on Instagram. So maybe he'll share the podcast and win-win for us and the homeless.
Oh yeah.
So. And tell me this, Dan. Are you playing football over in Canada?
Yeah, I played the first game there Saturday when I came back, drew 1-1. They lost their first 3 games without me. So
what, like an actual proper team?
Proper
like
team. I told him I said, listen, I'd play, but I've about 15 minutes in me. I've been on the beer for 3 weeks. The fucker played me 45 minutes. I was bollocks by the end of it, like proper bollocks.
Where do you play?
Left wing. I'm too old for that. I'm 29. I'm in the prime of my life. So I've got 1 year left on the wing.
A lot of running down there, Dan. A lot of running.
And who do you play for? The Vancouver Bears or what's the name?
We're called GFC Lions. You got the animal right.
The Green Caps.
No, I left the Green Caps. Controversial. Left them.
Transfer, was it a transfer?
Transfer on deadline day to GFC Lions, and then they played the Green Caps. Lost 1-0. So, ugh.
Did your top spells transfer record €2?
Fuck it. They were trying to get me out the door for they were paying to get rid of me.
Oh,
yeah. What about anybody else playing ball?
No, too
I
old.
play STEM Tuesday.
Sure, Conor Clarke telling stories that Bonnie fucking signed for Mornington FC.
Yeah, I don't know where this came about. I don't know.
There were many tales told at the wedding.
Told a few tales.
So many tales.
But no, Dan, I play a bit of nine-a-side now. But unlike yourself, I'm 31 now, 31 years old, and I'm gassed after 10 minutes. Like.
Yeah, but I think the thing is that
you just have to adapt.
Look at the cunts playing football now. Like there's so many people playing. Like 29 seems to be a good age for football. Granted, none of them have ever had a beer or anything else in their life, for the most part. But like, even still, it's a bit frustrating when you see 29-year-olds still doing the business.
No, but I mean, I get gassed. 10 minutes, I'm gassed. But you just have to adapt the game. Like, do you remember back in the day when we were good, and half time the other team brings on like the fat owl lad, and he thinks, I'm gonna run rings around this fella, and he's class. Like his touch is unreal. Well, I mean, it's not quite us yet, but his touch is unreal. He can pick a pass, and they can just read the game, innit?
Yeah. So being fat is funny in football because, like, from about 5 to 12, you're the best player on the pitch, and then from like 13 to 28, you kind of struggle again. But once the over 35 hits back, the fat guy's the best player on the pitch again. Like, do you remember being 11 or 12 and it'd be a fat cunt in centre mid? He's the best player on the pitch because he can kick the ball the hardest. The pitch is small. He's super strong, so you can't tackle him. And he used to just rocket balls in the back of the net, like.
That was none of us, though. We were all scrawny little fucks.
We were, but I remember Conor Clarke came on for Terry Burns' team, and they were like 9-0 down. He scored 2 rockets, 40 yards, within 2 minutes of each other.
I don't remember that.
I remember that. I had to be 2 years younger.
You scored, yeah?
2 in a row.
2 goals, 2 crackers.
Yeah?
Yeah, one 40 yards out, and another one then left foot. Actually, that was against Priorswood, and then the manager of Priorswood came up after and started asking me to join Priorswood. It's like, mate, I'd have been bad. How am I going to go to Priorswood?
I think you were 8-0 down when it happened. I'm pretty sure you were getting hot.
Bad.
Don't remember that at all. Was I there, yeah? Honestly, I was.
What were you going to say, Bon, about last minute goals?
I was just asking if Mick knows who else is good at last minute screamers.
Don't know. You?
No, Andrew Elliott and his jeans.
Oh, stop.
What a goal, huh?
It was a scream. I mean, we were a bunch of misfits. I mean, look at half of our team. We were half in Metallica t-shirts and like wallet chains and everything else.
I did the best touch of my life in football in that game. You know, that spell lumped the ball in the air. So I went 150, maybe as high as a plane, and it came down and glued to my toe. I remember Paul Richardson even turned around to me and said, "Jeez, that's some touch." So thanks.
But they had some team like if you actually look back at the team they were playing.
We shouldn't even been remotely in the game.
Shane McCaffrey, Paul Richardson, Rua.
Now, they might have had a few beers in them. That's the only.
They had Fonzie in goal.
Fonzie in goal. Diving trying to save my free kick.
Tiffy Rooney was there.
Tiffy Power. Yeah.
They had a serious squad. And like I say, we were a bunch of misfits, Metallica t-shirts,
put together,
chains and jeans.
Who was on the team playing St. Columbus, and we ended up in this full scale. And it was Raheny, and we ended up in a full scale riot.
Was that? Oh, God knows. There were so many riots at Balbriggan.
That was about. I remember actually, Spell was definitely on the team. So we ended up in a bit of a fight, I think, at home, and then we were playing about 3 or 4 weeks later. 3 or 4 weeks later, we were playing them away. And this is where it ended up bad. Like in Raheny, we ended up in the match had to be abandoned. The bus driver and everything jumped in.
Yeah, I know who it was. That was for Nolly Barrett's team. That was
Barrack.
that was one of them
Barrack.
teams that played near Kilbarrack, but it wasn't
Yeah.
Kilbarrack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can't remember who it was. I can't even think of the name of them. It was a Saint something, but it wasn't Saint Eaton's, and it wasn't.
Wasn't St. Columbus or something, was it?
No, it was somebody else. I remember them because I remember thinking, do you know, playing Balbriggan away, it's a bit intimidating coming out of that tunnel covered in cans and syringes.
It is, yeah.
Still on the beer, like, you know what I mean? To have to walk up the pitch, like, and not many people would know where Balbriggan is, so I don't really fancy doing that myself.
Yeah, a couple of scramblers left on the side of the pitch a few times as well. Stolen scramblers just dumped there. We had to get rid of them before the match.
I've very rarely played anywhere where I thought, Jesus, this is a bit much. But I remember playing at Darndale once. There were 6 horses on the side of the pitch. And I was
Darndale's rough.
That is shithole, isn't it?
Yeah.
The worst thing about Balbriggan was that fucking wicked easterly wind. That's the coldest place in the world. Like,
you learn to adapt to that. You learn to adapt to that and use it in your favour when you're playing teams.
That's home advantage.
Oh, you know, Balbriggan wind is like a 12th man.
We're playing in short sleeves, used to the fucking cold weather, and then all these teams are coming down from inner city.
Mick used to be a
never used to the beach wind.
I remember the ball used to go on the train track, and the subs have to go hop on the train track to get the ball.
I never did that. Fuck that.
Did you not? I did it once.
Someone else can risk their life. Fuck that shit.
I
was usually the one sticking it over the fence as well. Nah, fuck that.
Into St. Malagas.
St. Malagas, huh? Yeah. Well, that's because that pitch was tiny. Like, that pitch you could have picked up and put like half the size of a normal pitch.
Yeah.
It was that field was weird because there was 2 pitches on it, and one of them was a downhill, and the other one was completely flat, and they were side by side.
Yeah, we tried to play that small pitch against Glebe North.
Glebe North, what a pitch!
And your man, the Glebe North manager, came down on the Saturday night and measured the pitch.
Chris Paulus is that?
Yeah, he actually checked it, and it was too small for under 18s. What it was.
Really?
Yeah. Moved to the bigger pitch. So it was too small.
Did you get hockey from the bigger pitch?
We lost 2-0 or something, yeah.
Yeah, I used to always try to get everyone. I remember when because you were the Balbriggan B team. I remember you played the A team on the small pitch. Mark McGuinness scored a worldie from the halfway. He's beat them 1-0. He scored a free kick.
We played a really good team that small pitch, and we battered them. So there's no room to move. And the Glebe manager was down looking at that game, and he's seen it.
Me and Dan went to Glebe North for a little while. Bootsy Grant, the manager.
Was he?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Long time.
Yeah, a long time ago, yeah.
Boots, yeah. Yeah,
some player.
One of the few, as we discovered in Balbriggan, not many famous people have ever come out of Balbriggan. So one of the few that's listed on Wikipedia. Who did we add to Wikipedia?
Me.
Mickey Byrne.
Michael Byrne. Yeah.
I don't think it's saved, did it?
Did you?
I actually checked it last night. No, you're not there.
False information, it said. Yeah. Harry Reynolds. He was about the only man. Fat Arse Road.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man,
they spelled it wrong as well when they named it.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Did they? Yeah.
They had to change it.
Eamon De Valera's wife is from Balbriggan.
Who?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad.
She used to make all the sandwiches for the boys.
Yeah, actually going back to football, there was no good thing I heard, right? You know the Qatar World Cup? That's the same size as Wexford, the whole place.
What, Qatar?
Yeah.
Yeah, they put a map up. All the stadiums are within the distance of Wexford. So we've all been to a European competition, international competition, to say. That's just going to be carnage. Like,
yeah.
Fans
are going to be on top of each other.
Yeah. They'll be murder.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they will be if they're lucky the Russians aren't going, because they're one of the big problems. But the English are still arseholes.
Yeah.
So English and Scottish.
Oh, the Germans have an ultra section as well.
I don't know. The thing is, like, I don't. It's going to be
Poland. Is Poland there? Are Poland going?
Yeah.
Yeah, would it be murder there?
I don't know, but I don't know how many, like, when the World Cup comes, like, all them ultra things seem to be more kind of club level. I don't know how many of them travel. Like, it only seems, the only fans I see is like England, Serbia, and Russia tend to like break up shit.
Qatar's very far though.
England look like they're on to have an awful tournament because they look shy at the moment. So if they have an awful tournament, they'll crash the place. But then again, Qatar, like, you break a chair in Qatar, you probably lose an arm. So
that's what they're saying. Hopefully, they're more educated going over. Like,
but to be honest, I mean, if you think about those lads lacking the bollocks, they're not football fans. They're not going to be able to afford to go to Qatar. Well, maybe they can, but do you reckon they go?
Yeah. There's a guy who comes to my pub who every so often, he's a Canadian fella. He works as part of the organisation of it, He's a fucking loser, actually. He's always waffling about like how proud he is he works in the organization. But the one thing he was explaining to me is like they do like he's saying it was pretty much like Big Brother, like everything is under watch. You get this like swipe card just to get into the country, and then that's basically your wallet while you're there. And each of the individual swipe cards will say whether the person is or isn't allowed to have alcohol, which they decide at their discretion. So I don't think anybody that even has one crime, which most of the hooligans will get in. So it might be smooth. But it is just still mad having them that on top of each other.
Yeah,
like that being said, though, like if you're in a section where it was you and like it was Irish fans, Swedish fans, and a couple of good fans, like that'd be some crack too. Parts of it would be great. Like
I mean, not to get political, but it shouldn't be there in the first place.
no, it shouldn't be there.
No, definitely not. Did you see Denmark's shirt for it actually?
Yeah, black and red. Well,
no,
one
it's
red,
just
one
completely
black.
red, completely red. It's they're
but
trying to go.
Their second kit's completely black.
Yeah,
they're going unidentified. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, they're not the only team that's going in. So we're going to be wearing black and red at the World Cup. Canada.
Who's in their group actually?
Group of death for Canada. Tough L group. Croatia, tough. Belgium, tough. Morocco, tough.
Morocco's not that tough. Not anymore.
The World Cup is the 3 teams qualifying or 2.
I think it's only 2, Mick. I reckon we'll do it. We're a good team.
He says, look at this.
Listen,
Kenny
who? I'm just about Kenny in, but only just about.
Yeah, I'm touching on
Kenny
the
out.
edge myself. Yeah.
You're out, are you?
I'd like to get a bit more of a
I was
chance.
never in.
I know you
No,
were never.
You hate me. You hate me.
I don't understand why we're going, to be honest. I just think we should have a rule. We shouldn't have League One players in the team.
They won't get rid
Where
of
else are
them.
we going to get them from?
I'm okay.
Where else are we going to get them from, Mick?
No, James McLean needs to go.
Yeah,
man, Jason Knight is playing League One football. He's all right, but surely we can do better in League One.
Conor Hurahan
playing League One.
Speaking of Matt Doherty, did you see what Conte said about him the other night?
What?
Someone was just asking him like about players not playing. He was like, for example, last year Matt Doherty played all year. This year I can't rely on him. If I play him, we lose. It's like fucking hell.
I've seen that, yeah.
Well, we have problems with that team. We're not as good as we think we are, and that's the biggest problem as well.
I don't think
we think are very good at all, do we?
We think we can play football, which is stupid. Back to lumping up the big striker.
Oh, fuck that. No, I disagree. When you see teams like Georgia rock up and play better football than Ireland, why can't we play better football than them?
Yeah.
Well, we can't remember any time. When did we ever play good football?
Robbie Brady made a bit of an impact. He looks like he's on a good return.
Brady's playing well in the championship, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's with Ipswich, isn't it?
Oh, I thought we played an absolute. You're saying that, Mick. You go back and watch 2002. They played football. We played Spain off the park in 2002.
And if you go through that, if you went through that starting team, they were nearly all Premier League.
No, I know they were good players.
And
lots of teams
they're all English.
Like that. Lots like Wales are crap, and they're still going along. They're in the fucking World Cup. You know, Scotland are playing better football than us. Like, there's loads of shit teams that play good football, so I'm not having that at all. If I don't mind if you want to dig in against Portugal, that's grand. But we should, like, when you're playing someone at our level, Slovenia, Slovakia, we shouldn't be lumping the ball against them.
Right, lads, I'm going to head because the kids are down to bed there now.
We're going to call it off here now, General Con.
Go on, Con. Great,
lads.
Great little
Good to see you,
drop
Con.
off.
Say good night to Hamburg. It's been a pleasure, lads, and you both look great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
look
Bon.
great.
We'll try to get you back on again, Bon, will we?
Look, see you go. I'm a hard man to get a hold of these days.
Sorry for the delay in the podcast. Sometimes personal life gets in the way, and that's all it is. We're all happy. Mick is married and he deserves it, and his new name Crystal really suits him. And so
lucky lady.
We should be weekly again moving forward. Still kind of trying to find our direction. This podcast, it might be more like this, where it's just a bit of unorganized chaos. But sure, let us know if you want us to change anything or what you like or what you didn't like. Should Bonnie get another go? Should we never let him near the television again? Your choice. But yeah, thanks for listening.